Do you ever come across a news story that is so utterly bizarre that it kind of blows your mind that it even exists? Juan Guaido, the guy who just unilaterally declared himself to be the president of Venezuela, told the AFP that he would do everything necessary in order to save human lives, and said he would not rule out controversial subjects such as calling on foreign powers and the United States, particularly to military intervene in Venezuela to remove Nicolas Maduro's power. So he's saying that as the president of Venezuela, allegedly, he's calling on the U.S., he's not ruled out calling on the U.S. military to invade his country to get rid of Maduro. You know, if you're the president, why aren't you able to do that yourself? Well, the obvious answer is that he's not the president. And he's just so legitimately a president that 81% of the public didn't know who he was, and literally has to use the efforts of a foreign country to do so. Now, this particularly reeks of Vietnam. You know, essentially you had a leftist kind of leader elected in Vietnam, and then he was assassinated by the CIA and put, I believe that was President Tu, and then the guy put in after him by the United States with President Diem, who was essentially just a puppet. Now, I'm pretty sure those are the names of the guys, so don't quote me on that. But you can see that's exactly what we're looking at right here, except there's no North Venezuela to reinforce the sovereignty of the Venezuelan people. But you can kind of see the thing that's going on right now. And the question is the American public going to buy it? I am almost completely convinced that the U.S. is going to invade Venezuela. Maybe not a full-on ground land invasion, but maybe dropping in special forces to essentially assassinate Maduro, take over key industries, etc. In other words, in some way, I believe that there is going to be a military invasion of Venezuela. And I believe that this is more of that effort to try to legitimize it in the eyes of the American people. Because it is the American people, probably more than anyone else, who can do something about it. But if we've learned anything from history, it's that you can tell the American people anything, and they'll believe it. The vast majority of the public bought the weapons of mass destruction lie. The vast majority bought the Gaddafi was killing his own people. The vast majority of them still believe Assad used chemical weapons, was oppressing his own people, etc. I mean, they believe the same thing about the NATO intervention in Kosovo, where they buy it every single time. And the last time they ever really questioned war was the Vietnam War. And the only reason they did it was because the American people had to go and fight it. Not the professional soldier that's going to do, whatever it is they're ordered to anyway. But the regular, everyday American person was going to get scooped up and put into that war. Then, all of a sudden, they seemed to have a problem with it and had a really big rebellion against it. So to the American people, this one's on you. Every time a new war comes up, okay, you know that the thing when we think about the past and we think about what people were doing during the Vietnam War, the people who were resisting it, etc., who were absolutely vilified at the time, but are now vindicated by history. Now's the time. Now is your time. Millennials, this is your time to stand up and say something. This is the opportunity you have to stand up to such a blatant abuse of power, to stand up to imperialism. This could theoretically end up being your Vietnam. And this is your opportunity to be the resistor. This is your opportunity to tell the government, no, you don't want this war. I mean, Donald Trump aside, forget him. If Hillary had been elected, we probably would have already had a war with Venezuela. So never even mind the partisan politics. This probably would have happened regardless. But this is your moment. This is when you can stand up and say, you did something. Because the last couple of wars, no one did anything of any that amounted to anything significant. But now is the time for you to do it. And I'm not just talking to my viewers who are millennials. I'm saying everyone across the United States who is a millennial. Everyone that says they want universal health care, they want universal education, they want democratic socialism, otherwise known as social democracy or Western European democracy. Resisting wars is part of that. This is your opportunity to do that. This is going to be your moment to step in and tell the government that you're not going to do it. This is going to be your chance to step up to the U.S. imperialist war machine and reject it. The question is, what are you going to do?
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.